Hey everybody, welcome back to the Daddy Knows Best channel, helping you be a successful, happy man, survive and thrive. Again, some people might say I'm red pill content, some people say I might be the man in the manosphere, and some people might say otherwise. But let me know what you think down below, and while you're at it, please hit that that like button for me. Give me a big thumbs up, and let's jump into the video today. We're going to be talking about some of the pros and cons with dating. I just did a big almost 2 hour long video yesterday about it too, so check out that if you want some general dating advice. But this one is about some of the pros and the cons, but also some of the dangers and the benefits of possibly dating foreign. Now, don't be deceived, don't lie to yourself. Women all around the world have been influenced by feminism. They certainly have. If they're from a major city, they've been influenced by feminism. And again, people talk about the West. What does that mean? That means if they're, a Western country, anglicized, English kind of speaking, or influenced, they're most likely to be feminist. France, yes, highly feminist country. Italy, Spain, many of these countries out here. So if you are looking out here to date and find a more reasonable, more family oriented, more traditional women, it's still risky, but you're more likely to find it in a few different countries. And we're going to be talking about that here in a second. And also, we're not fools over here at Daddy Knows Best either. I know a lot of you men watching this type of content are probably divorced men, probably in your 40s, early 40s, maybe 30s. And but you'd be surprised, a lot of younger men in the, especially in America, they're being insulted constantly by women. They're raised by single mothers, and they've seen the bad effects of that. Even if they like their mother, they realize that the single mother didn't really care for them that much. Even if there was a father in the household, they realize that society's been broken by feminism. Their father didn't teach them any skills or any abilities. It didn't encourage them. They didn't, even didn't, provide for them for ways to build their talents and skills and abilities. And most certainly didn't teach them anything about dating or, how to weave and get through and survive and thrive in this world. So that's what my channel is all about. Sorry for the big intro, but I thought I felt like I'd introduce myself today once again. So again, a lot of you guys watching my channel, you might be divorced, but again, if you've been through divorces, please help younger men around you. Find ways to help them and warn them about the dangers in Western countries of getting married, because it's very common for you to get divorced and the woman runs off with all the prizes and gets to steal almost everything you've ever earned and created and developed, and you have to start from ground zero. There's men out there who are homeless because after divorce, even though they were good men and they paid for the $10,000 wedding ring and the $50,000 wedding celebration and all that, and the honeymoon and everything else, they could put themselves, you could put yourself in $100,000 or debt or more just to get married, and you're still going to get divorced in the end, and she's going to take all the gifts and the prizes. And again, the younger men are waking up. The younger men, they're not given a chance. They're ignored. They're pushed out. Women are going for more wealthier and wealthier men. So 50%, of the men are completely forgotten about or completely ignored. They've done, they've done studies, real studies, and women see 80% of men as average or even below average. So the average woman, even if she's unattractive, even if she's below average, they, are only going to look at the top 20% of men as even an option. Many of these women, even average women, demand the top 10 or even the top 1%. Again, they think it's normal for them to get a man who's 6 foot or taller, well-spoken, well-dressed, attractive, and wealthy. They don't understand how rare that is, and they think they're average looking and all they have to do is show up and maybe spread their legs and that's it. They don't have to have a personality. They don't have to care about kids or want to have kids. And again, you might not even want a family, but they don't have any skills or abilities to take care of you or do anything for you. And they still think they're the prize. They just have to show up. They don't have to develop skills or personality. They don't even have to, they can show up in sweatpants. They don't even have to dress up. They don't even have to look pretty. And they're still the prize. And you're just a boring old man. You know what I'm talking about? But let's jump into international dating again. This channel here called Global Seducer, shout out to him. You know, again, we'll talk about some of his points, but he clearly, you know, thinks it's funny that people talk, you know, it is exaggerated that foreign dating is dangerous, and there are dangers. Do be careful. But he thinks it's kind of funny that people act like it's so dangerous, because there are men doing this, and they're weaving, and they're happy, and they're making a success. You know, again, and you can be a man looking for, you know, marriage, or just, you know, just to have fun, just casual dating. You know, there's a reason why, you know, these feminist types don't want you to do this and don't want you to know about this. But of course, they can let in all the immigrants and all the refugees they want into your country. They take your jobs, they disrupt the economy, they take advantage of you, and these women keep voting for bigger and bigger government, bigger and bigger taxes upon you. And you know, of course, that gives more benefits to them and your replacements in your own country, where you're just going to be kicked out. But of course, we can't talk. You know, we can't talk about that. But a man going to a foreign country and finding an attractive Spanish or Hispanic or Asian girl, or you know, some cute girl from Thailand or something. Oh, that's just taboo. That's just evil. Let's watch a little bit of this video, and then we're gonna get to some other big points here too. So,
fat women, short-haired women, dating foreign women is dangerous. Ooh, scary, right? Your mother probably told you that you should never travel to Colombia because you will get killed.
And Colombia can be dangerous, guys.
And she might also have told you that you should never, ever, ever go to Thailand because the traffic is just so insane and you will die there. Well, that's not true. I've been to Colombia and I've been to Thailand. I survived it, but it's dangerous. And it's dangerous for another reason. It's dangerous because of the women. It's dangerous because your standard will never be the same again. Once you travel outside the West, there's a high chance that you come from the USA too. If not, you might come from Europe, from Australia, but you probably come from a Western country. If you live in a Western country, then you're probably also used to overweight women, nagging women, fat women, short-haired women, women with pink hair, blue hair, whatever you want to call it, and women who say that shaving their armpits is totally sexist. Once you step over the border and you go to I don't want to call it third world country or developing country, I just say it outside of the Western Hemisphere, let's call it like this. Suddenly you're surrounded by beautiful women. I mean, I still remember the first country I traveled to was Poland because it's right next to Germany. And
okay, so this guy's from Germany, and he's going to go a little bit into his experience here in a second. But I wanted to cover some of the points he just made there real quick. A lot of you men have become desensitized. And these young kids, these young men who are being raised in daycares, I mean, the previous generation was already messed up and corrupted. Now we have, you know, extremely aggressive social justice warriors and these gender-obsessed people, you know, transgender, who are openly targeting your young boys and trying to get them to transition, wear dresses, become drag queens. And a lot of these upcoming younger men, not only are they ignored and pushed out and rejected by women who want, you know, exotic, you know, immigrant play, you know, little play, you know, boy toys essentially, or they want extremely wealthy men as they get older, and you know, they wait to get married or possibly have a kid when they're 30. So, you know, you get desensitized to this. You think it's normal. You think it's normal to see a woman who puts, you know, has green hair or blue hair, or even the feminist who, you know, they're you know, raised around quote unquote more conservative or more free, you know, kind of more normal people, where it's a little bit, you know, a little bit more taboo to be feminist, and they put these little streaks, like pink streaks in their hair, or just a streak of color somewhere in their hair where it's not as noticeable, and also that lets other feminists and these types of people know they're probably bisexual too. And again, more power to you if you do live these type of lifestyles, more power to you. But again, if you are one of these people watching my channel, or if, again, we're addressing men more here, you and those types of people are aggressive. They don't want your kids, and they don't want you to be masculine. They don't want you to be traveling across in the world. They want you to accept and even expect, or, you know, cow down and obey what is the new norm. They think they get to decide what is the new norm, that you don't have any influence as a man. You can't have any expectations. You can't make, you know, changes, or, you know, put out your desires out there. How many talk shows are we going to have? How many of these little news agencies are we going to have where women get up there and get to say that there's no good men, when she's like 25 or even 30 or even 35, and she's like a single mother who has like a terrible attitude, and she's not friendly, she doesn't go out in public, and, you know, she rejects, you know, or doesn't even use social media, or all, you know, these different crazy types of women, and they get to sit around and say that there ain't no good men or no good man out there, while you do your best to try to, you know, stop the destruction as Western society crumbles under the foot of, you know, feminism and globalism and and, you know, the destruction of our economies. These people don't care about your freedom or your economy or your lifestyle or families. They openly hate families. Again, you know, this channel does mention families. A lot of modern men just want to get out there and play, but feminists don't want you to be able to get out there and for you to choose as a man. Again, I'm going to be giving you a little bit of my personal experiences, because I bring this up because he talked about going out there and finding. I went to college, and it was again, I was raised religiously, and I went to a religious private college, and it was still extremely taboo for you as a man to go in public, you know, even at a college, and go and talk to a woman. And I'm not talking about, you know, putting a woman against the wall, or dominating a woman, or, you know, talking down to a woman. I'm talking about approaching a woman, just being confident, and expressing your interest in conversation, and, you know, and being, you know, your genuine self. That was seen as taboo, that you were seen as the quote-unquote aggressor. You know, women expected you as a man, for them to be able to, if a relationship or dating was to start, it had to be at a certain social event, or they got to sit back and, you know, play these little word games, or little body language. If somebody is a complete stranger to you in America, like, you've never seen this woman, you don't know her name, you've never talked to her, and she also doesn't know anything about you outside your social circle, she's not willing to take that kind of risk, and she, you know, is not willing to take that kind of danger. You know, she sees you as a threat. A lot of women in these foreign countries, they don't treat you like this. They don't think about you as a big danger. It should be exciting if a stranger approaches you and it acknowledges how attractive a woman is. That's a compliment. But these women see it as a threat, and even as an insult. You know, that you, especially if she doesn't think you're on her level, and she also wants to feel like she's getting the prize out of you, because again, a lot of in the Western countries, men constantly throw themselves at women. It's normal for men to just throw themselves at women and capitulate and offer their jobs, their monies, their career, their inheritances, and everything at women. Throw it at women's feet with no expectation or explanation. She just gets to pick and choose whatever she wants. In foreign countries, they don't treat women like this. You know, and if you as a man, you know, actually approach a woman, she's going to be a lot more open to actually having a conversation with you. Now, again, there's different social expectations, different cultures, and everybody is, you know, some people are going to be shy, some women are going to be shy, and you know, you definitely have to know how to approach the situation, you know, how to break the ice, and all these kinds of things. But again, it's to me very strange that in America, you know, if you are confident and just approach a woman, and, you know, one of the things that really got me looking and wanting to know what's wrong with dating, what's going on? Why is the world so crazy? Why are women, you know, why is this their disconnect and such a big problem with men, with dating, and men and women? You know, I tried to do, you know, real honest, genuine approaches, and I tried it on attractive women, average women, even unattractive women. And not, and again, they feminism is ingrained, even again at a religious private college, that there you are assumed to be the aggressor, even if you approach a woman who's clearly less attractive than you. You know, she still is going to be uncomfortable with it because, you know, you're supposed to be dating with, around, or in, or through her own social groups and all this kind of stuff. Or you have to be going to a certain event. You know, a lot of, again, wouldn't it be amazing if you just saw a woman and that you could just approach her and that she would consider you, you know, not only for dating, but possibly for marriage or a long-term relationship or whatever, you know, and not be on this crazy defensive type of attitude. And again, we won't get into this again with the immigrants and all this, but these are the same women who are allowing these immigrants and or invaders or some of the quote unquote refugees, and they often come from cultures that don't respect women and often do commit more crime. But of course, they're going to treat all men the same. And, you know, you as, you know, a country, as a man from your own nation, wherever you live, you know, you are going to be this always seen as the quote unquote bad person. Always seen as the bad, quote unquote bad person, even if these immigrants or refugees are targeting women and doing terrible things at, you know, you know, special cultural events and on holidays and all this type of stuff. You, as the man from your own culture, your own nation, you are going to be held accountable. All that blame and all that responsibility for some reason is going to be put on you, when again you are the victim of these governments taking advantage and replacing you and making your labor worth less, and, you know, taking advantage of you as a man. These women, you know, there's a serious disconnect here. But let's continue on with the dating. Let's see let's see what else he has to say.
When I stepped over the border, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, how is that even possible? I was running around in a bigger city in Germany for days to find maybe 2 girls who I want to approach. And then I'm here in the middle of Warsaw. And suddenly there are thousands of women I could approach. Beautiful, tall, blonde girls, feminine, sexual energy. Just, whoa, I was blown away. And that makes it very dangerous, because once you come back, your mind can come back.
Exactly. You know, they say once you go foreign, I think he jokes about this. Once you go foreign, you don't go back because your expectations rise. I mean, this kind of happened to me, and I was already just an American in America. Again, in college, for example, one time I didn't even know, but a guy started giving me glances, and I got the impression that she was possibly married or possibly engaged. I don't even know. Anyways, this woman was from Scotland, and somehow I noticed that she was you know, looking my way. And we were in a class together at college and struck up a conversation. And this woman, you know, had some of the best conversation skills and was one of the most friendly women that I had ever met. And I thought she was extremely attractive. And I mean, I could have totally gone for her. But I think she was married or engaged or something. And then after that, you know, this guy started, you know, acting threatening. I wasn't intimidated. I just let things be. And I kind of tried to bring it up with her if she was engaged or something. And then she didn't really talk to me after that. But anyways, I just have to say that, you know, the friendliness and the conversation skills and the mental agility and the friendliness. And again, this woman was so much more feminine and so much more attractive than almost anybody at this college. And, you know, and again, you as a man can't even imagine that somebody would, you know, be that open and that friendly and that honest. You've gotten, you think it's like normal for women to quote be quote unquote bad, and I don't mean bad as in like confident and you know, she doesn't you know, she gets what she wants. We're talking about there's people in America, especially men, who have been trained to accept really actually bad women who are openly throw, tantrums, who openly yell, who openly scream, openly regularly nag you, demand upon you, cause you stress, make you lose your hair. And women who, make bad decisions, spend up all your money on credit cards and all this kind of stuff. It's considered socially normal for you as a man to just accept almost any, bad qualities, from women. And these women in foreign countries, they want to work with you and build with you, and they see you as a huge potential and a huge step up. And again, I'm not trying to build up this fantasy. There's definitely women are financial or economic opportunists. There's no doubt about it. You coming from a Western country are far more successful. You're coming from a more powerful country. You're of higher status. Not only, does she have that potential to, gain some of your wealth or that experience, or maybe just learn how to talk better, talk to an Englishman. So maybe she could target or, date or marry, another guy in the future. She's honing her skills and her abilities as also you are learning and gaining experience as well. But on the other hand, if she does want marriage and if she does want kids, that you are so much more of an opportunity. And again, I bring this up because, and I wanted to make this as kind of a joke, but it's kind of serious too, man. Again, this is real advice that nobody else is going to tell you in any other channels. This is a real deal channel over here. That's kind of a form of privilege, isn't it? If you come from one of these really well-established, powerful countries with a better economy, and you're, some people might say that you are taking advantage of these women in a financial way. It's still a trade-off. The women are still benefiting. But if this is privilege, if you do want to acknowledge that this is privilege, how about men take this advantage of this situation for once in their lives? For once in your life, you as a man can actually have some advantage, and come from a stronger economy, and also from a country where you're more likely to be taller or more attractive to some of these women. Why not take advantage of that? And, for once, maybe you can have a little bit of privilege instead of being beaten down and told that you're nothing. And these women can have constant, these feminists and these women have bigger and bigger expectations. And, none of these other men will stand up with you and tell women, again, not trying to get them to go back in the kitchen, but telling them, really balancing things out, rejecting women, telling women no, balancing things out, real equality, where there is a, dating type of, game. But of course, men can't evaluate or don't get to have choice or don't get to have any of the power. You know what I'm saying? And again, as we've talked about on this channel, all these really, really rich and really wealthy and really attractive men at the top in our Western countries like America and the like, they're the ones who are getting all the dates. They are the ones who essentially have harems. They can be dating 5 or more women, Instagram models and Instagram and supermodels, and they can be, pick and choose, all these young women right out of college or 18 and 19-year-olds. And you as a man out there, especially if you aren't successful yet, you think that, there's just no one to date. And if you live in the country or, in a place that's a little bit more poor, you might not even see any attractive women because they all move to these bigger cities so they can take advantage of the money and the economy. And so they can be if you want to talk about victimhood, possibly victimhood, or the quote unquote patriarchy, so these women can go to big cities and find these wealthy men so they can possibly date or marry them. Again, in foreign countries, a lot of these women, some of them might date the wealthy men, but there's still this expectation of marriage or exclusivity. A woman in foreign countries knows that she doesn't have long until you know, she has to get either married or have kids, or maybe she does want to be single, but, you know, if she does want something long term, she's going to have to, you know, do that fairly early on. She's not going to keep dating or trying to date, you know, again, these extremely tall, wealthy, attractive men, you know, until she's 30 or 35, and then want to settle down with a weak little blue pill guy who's going to cook and clean and capitulate for her and do everything she wants, and, you know, open his credit card and checking account, and she gets to spend all of his money. You know, that, you know, people in foreign countries don't allow women to do that. Men don't tolerate that type of behavior, and men honestly shouldn't. You know, if we want a balance, and if we want actual equality, women, you're not fighting. They know that they're not fighting for equality out here. If we're going to talk about privilege, by golly, there's an amazing privilege that, you know, that women have in our societies. So again, you as a man, take advantage of this situation. Even if you're a younger man and you're coming across this channel, maybe you've never thought of dating foreign women. Again, I'm not trying to build up a fantasy. There's risks. There's dangers. You're going to be spending a lot of money one way or another, but you need to figure out, you know, and find what you're actually attracted to. Again, a lot of you men out there don't even know what you're attracted to. You've never had the opportunity to date different women. You've never had the opportunity to even talk to different women. A lot of these feminist women in these countries, they don't even talk to men. You know, you try to have a conversation with them, and they don't even have a conversation. We have this hookup culture, and people on dating apps, you know, if you're a Chad, if you're a Tyrone, you know, all you have to do is send, like, come over at 3 p.m. in the morning, and the woman comes over. Sometimes they only send like one word, or what, you know, not even a full sentence. They just say 3 p.m. and the woman's over there. You know, people don't even talk. And I've made the point before, but a lot of women, especially in the West, we don't even have the expectation that women even talk. You know, if you're a 10 out of 10 model, if you're really gorgeous, I mean, you don't even have to learn how to speak almost. You could just show up and women will throw free food and meals and dates and do anything for you. You almost don't even have to speak. And that's why, you know, we used to talk about the dumb blondes and the airheads, is because these women aren't, you know, intellectually challenged in the Western countries. Women, I mean, men are always trying to protect them and give to them. They're never disagreed with. They're never challenged. And people assume that they're smarter or more intelligent than they actually are. And people never just question or challenge them because of that beauty. You know, beauty is fleeting, and it can, you know, it is a beautiful thing. But again, men have, you know, also more expectations, but also they put beauty in a better they have a better view of it. You know, it's important, it's likable, and again, if you're gonna just be a quote unquote international playboy or whatever, I mean, sure, keep dating, you know, young women, but, you know, a lot of international men put, you know, looks into perspective, where, you know, they want to know who this person is, especially if they want marriage, and especially if they want kids. They're going to be picky. Again, I've made the point, and I'm gonna keep talking about a few of these things because y'all need to hear them, and it needs to be, people openly need to start talking about these things, and we need to change our culture, because you as men in Western countries, you have little to absolutely no expectations. When is the last time that you rejected a woman? You said no. When's the last time you ignored an opportunity? Body language, or a woman said something to you. A lot of men openly say that, you know, men should leap at the opportunity to date or have fun with or do something with any woman. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, how unattractive she is or how gross she is. You know, I worked at a car dealership, and these men, you know, I was working around mechanics and these greasy type of guys, and you know, there was one time this woman showed up, and they all liked her, and I thought she was disgusting, and they, you know, they thought that, you know, I guess she was easy or she was country or something, I don't know. Anyways, you know, I had to, you know, repair and work and move her car around, and the inside of her car was a trash heap. The inside of her car was an absolute filthy mess. And that is enough for me as a man. If you can't even keep your car decently clean, I understand that cars sometimes get dirty. Cars sometimes, you know, you have some salt or some French fries or whatever inside your car. But it was simply amazing to me that, you know, this car could be that dirty. It's as if, you know, this woman she had never cleaned the car, and there was, you know, it's one thing to have a little bit of dust or some fuzzy things in your car, but it was literally drenched in like clay, and there was like dirt covering everything on the inside, and there was, like, you know, years of trash that, you know, and paper and things in the back of this car. I mean, this car was still working, but it's as if this car, I mean, it was as bad as like an abandoned car that had been abandoned. And the back on the inside, it was that dirty, like it had been abandoned for 5 or 10 years or something. It was like decrepit. It was like dead. Anyways, sorry for that story, but I just had to make that point that, you know, these men were ready and willing and were excited and were gonna throw themselves at this woman, and she was really unattractive to me, extremely unattractive, and also, you know, bad habits, bad personality. And I mean, if you were to marry this woman or have kids with her, you think she's gonna clean the house? Oh, heavens no. She's not going to clean that house. It's going to become a pigsty. Well, let's continue. Let's continue on with this video, and we got a lot of material to cover, so let's continue.
Like, once you can go foreign, you can never go back, even though it doesn't rhyme, but it's still true. It's just your standards rise. They do. I mean, I just have to look in my social circle. Some of the girls they consider marrying, I wouldn't even touch them because my standards are so high by now because I did all this traveling. The second point I want to talk about is falling in love. I know a lot of guys are...
Okay, before we get into this point, I'll just go over this real quick. We already talked about this, but I kind of addressed it. A lot of you men are willing to tolerate and date and marry these women out there, and you have little to no expectation. For some reason, a lot of you men aren't willing to look around and try to find new opportunities. Again, it's kind of socially normal for you to date within who's around you, who you know, who your family knows, your social circle, as they say. And, you know, a lot of people marry based off, you know, who their friends recommend. And, you know, a friend of a friend or a friend of your cousin or something like this, you know, a couple social circles out, you know, is really as far as most men reach. And usually as far as men go is, you know, 2 or 3 social circles out from what they know. But if you're a confident man and you know what you want and you want to experience the world and actually figure out maybe what you like, because a lot of you guys, again, do not know what you actually want, and you've never had the chance to even talk or meet different women of different cultures, you might find that you like a different lifestyle, a different type of woman that you've never even met. You know, you don't even know what this culture is or this language. You have no idea what the lifestyle is like. You don't know how these women act or how they think. You might like, you know, how the accent, how their voices sound, their not only the accents or the language. I mean, you'd be amazed. And again, you as a man, especially in the West, there's an expectation upon you that you just accept or tolerate or just give women whatever they want. I've had fathers, you know, try to convince me or tell me that I should date or marry their daughter when if a father does that, you know, I was a good catch and I am a good catch, but also that probably means that daughter, you know, probably has some problems, probably mental issues, probably extremely shy, and or other problems. You know, again, that's not common in Western culture. But you'd be surprised, maybe a father will offer you his young, you know, young virgin daughter as hand in marriage, you know, if you are successful enough and you're a good man. That might just happen to some of you guys out there. You'd be surprised at how amazing your life can be and the opportunities that are out there for you. You know, again, you're just taught to accept, you know, if a woman chooses you or if a woman likes you, even if, you know, you fight or argue, you know, you're just supposed, that's just normal. You're just supposed to accept any woman that comes along, and you're just supposed to try to make you know, that woman happy, no matter you know, if even if you don't really like her or whatever. You know, a little bit of fun, a little bit of bedroom fun is all that you know, all you're looking for, and that's the best. You think that's the best that life can get, that you think that's the best that life can offer you. You know, you've been conditioned that way. You know, you have little to no expectations, no requirements, and you're just supposed to accept any woman who picks you, any woman who likes you, any woman who expresses any interest in you. And it's extremely taboo if you say no. Again, at college, you know, there is women who are, you know, trying to flirt and date with me, and I just would ignore them, sometimes intentionally and sometimes unintentionally. And sometimes my roommates were shocked because all my roommates wanted this girl, and to a lot of people she would be considered very attractive, but I didn't like her personality, I didn't like how she acted, and she was also dating just about anybody and everybody. You know, I didn't want to date a woman like that. I like to, you know, I want to date a woman who's more exclusive, and I also want her to be really picky. And again, everybody has different preferences. You might want a girl who's more free and fun, and she's willing to date anybody and everybody. But I wanted to date a woman who's more exclusive. She's more picky. She doesn't date very many people. And that, you know, I found not that I had to achieve or conquer, you know, a woman who's more picky or exclusive, but because she would pick me, and that there was you know, a connection where she was going to hold out, or she was going to, you know, wait to find somebody who was more, you know, more compatible with her. You know, that to me, that's something that I wanted, and I still think that is a good attitude to have. You know, you as a man shouldn't, I mean, of course, have your fun if you want to, with whatever comes around if you want to, but you know, you shouldn't have the expectation upon yourself to marry or date or have children with just any woman who comes along. You know, you need to figure out what kind of qualities and what kind of lifestyle this woman has. And a lot of the times these women, they you know, they haven't been taught to think that way. They've never been pressured. They've never had any expectations put upon them. Here's your opportunity to, you know, help change society. She's probably not going to want to work with you, probably not going to care. You're going to get a lot of pushback from her and maybe her friends, and maybe, again, you men who are doing this kind of thing, dating foreign or actually starting to stand up for yourself. A lot of these weak men, again, also, again, a lot of these men out here, your friends, even your fathers and your grandfathers and the people that you know, they're whipped, they're weak, and they are not going to tolerate you, or they're going to outcast you, or think that there's something wrong with you for just having expectations. They're going to assume that you're like a serial player, or that you're manipulative, or that you're taking advantage of women when you're just having a fair experience. Again, a lot of women, not only do they hide their activities better than men, but people give them a pass. You know, a woman can go out on Friday and Saturday night, or completely disappear for a whole weekend, and people don't ask them questions. People don't want to put them in a bad light. They don't ask them where they've gone, where they've been, who they saw, who they spoke with, or what it's like, what have you been up to? People don't put those expectations upon them. But if you as a man, you know, disappear for a weekend, or they start seeing on social media that, you know, you've been going to parties or meeting different women, there's something wrong with you. There's something, you know, you as a man, you know, there's still this expectation of traditionalism upon men that they're supposed to be getting married. You know, you as a man are supposed to be getting married, and you know, you're supposed to be settling down, and you're supposed to be, you know, capitulating to the wants and the demands of, you know, a woman. You know, if a woman falls in love with you and you reject her, a lot of people, you know, they think that's taboo for you to reject her. That's extremely bad or extremely evil, or there's something really wrong with you. If she, and of course most Western women it's not really love, it's just infatuation, that, you know, you're of such a higher status and such higher value. And you're going to find that you know, a lot of women, these feminist women, they're going to start, especially if they're dating foreign, and especially, you know, a lot of these women will spy and connive and try to figure out who you are. If they figure out that you've traveled to foreign countries and that, you know, you're ignoring their body language, you know, the friends and the family and the people around you, and they start talking, and they, you know, a lot of people, they want to know your dating life, even though it should be private. And they know that you've traveled, or that, you know, and they try to figure out what you've been doing. They're going to be very, they're probably not going to be happy with you. They're just not, you know, these people should be, you know, excited, and they should be encouraging to you. They should be loving and supporting to you. But your friends and your family and your coworkers and all this, they're going to make it a serious problem. This kind of thing, you know, do be careful. Again, that's why I encourage a lot of you men. A lot of you men watching this channel are divorced, but if you're a younger, upcoming man, this is why I encourage you to build and develop your own business and get to the point where you have, you know, money that people can't touch, or they can't touch your career, or they can't touch you, because, you know, feminists will try to control society in every type of way, and they openly will try to get you fired if they know that you're traveling on holidays, or occasionally traveling the world, and that you don't date anybody around them or anybody that they know. And especially if you happen to have pictures of you and fabulous women all across the world, or whatever the situation is, you know, these women will eventually figure out, you know, what kind of lifestyle that you live, and they will try to get you fired or push you out of your job. And I've seen this kind of thing happen over and over. And they also get intimidated, or threatened. You'd be surprised that even married women, you know, they see you as a higher value man, and if you have these options, they might get interested in you, and they might start acting really strange, because you're not under the control of them and their friends and their social circle. You're outside of their control and their leverage, and they just can't handle that. To them, that's a threat. You're outside of their control. You're outside of their influence, and the possibility that, you know, you're a free man, and maybe you're even out there exercising control, and, you know, and determining who you want to date, who you don't want to date. You're deciding, you know, when or how or if you know who you get to date. It's not decided upon her friends or her friends group, you know, when or if you get to date, and they don't get to entrap you with marriage, or force you, or lead you like a lamb to the slaughter. That, you know, they control the environment where you're supposed to, you know, date somebody. I don't know how, again, this might be something more that happens in religious communities or smaller communities, but, you know, they discourage men from actually going out there and actually finding who's compatible. You know, you think it would be helpful if people that you're, you know, the people around you who most of the time they're actually your enemies, your friends and your family and your cousins and the people around you. You think that they'd be looking for your best interest. They don't understand you, and they try to control the situation where you don't, you know, so you don't get to meet or talk with or date all kinds of different women. They try to lead you and control the situation, so you settle down with one woman who is, you know, less attractive than you, less wealthy than you, and who actually likes you, and they try to control that situation, so, you know, you settle in with their friends group, and they think it's socially normal for a man to date down or marry down, and they think they have you pegged down, you know, pin the tail on the donkey. They think that they know, you know, what's best for you and your lifestyle, and what you should do and how you should live and what kind of job you're going to have. They think that they know everything about you, and that they think that they should be able to decide, you know, your life for you and control, you know, your outcomes. And parents do these kinds of things in the Western countries to their kids as well. They don't go as far as almost arranged marriages, but some parents almost do. Again, I was raised more in the South. It's probably more of a rural thing, but they almost will try arranged marriages, you know, in some places. But let's continue on with this video. You men out there need to, you need to be in control of what, who you want to date and how you want to date. And, you got to step outside of this control of where, your friends and your sisters and your mothers and these people try to control this situation of, your, where you want to go and what you want to do. But they don't want to lose you to another woman. They don't want you to possibly move to another country. But that's your life. I mean, you get to decide if you're going to move out of that social circle, so they also don't get the benefits of your, your lifestyle and, that community, working with each other and all these things and your protections and benefits that you might give, her social circle. Women understand social circles and social dynamics, and, they don't want you being pulled out of that, social circle. I hope that you understand how, if you do decide to internationally date, these are the kind of factors that you might not notice at first, but these things are going to be, they're going to be, in the background. That people are going to be talking, people are going to be, trying to figure out how they can get you back into their social circle, how they can, find a woman who's going to, take you down or force you to settle down. Again, maybe you don't want marriage, maybe you do, but they're going to try to find a situation or try to take advantage of you, and they're going to also think that you have a massive ego. Again, we're not going to be talking too much about ego, and maybe we'll have a mentality video. I'll make a video all about that with your perspective and your confidence and your view of yourself as a man, especially with international dating or just self-improving yourself. But they can't handle that. Not only is there jealousy, and not only do they want control, but you as a man also are beginning, especially if you're international dating with foreign women, you're finally, you are developing your character. You're growing as a person. You have better social skills. You have better social abilities. You probably are finding like-minded people. You probably are finding business opportunities where, a bit, opportunities. You have a bigger, a network of people that you could possibly work with. You have so much more at your disposal, and your confidence, is growing. And I'm not encouraging men to have bigger egos. Some men out there, their egos do need to be put in check. They're a little bit too aggressive, but you as a man should have expectations. What you will accept and what you won't accept. Again, this isn't you forcing your lifestyle or trying to dominate or trying to put down on your friends and family who are just living their Joe Blow or just regular lifestyle. This isn't you talking, I'm not encouraging you to go out there and talk about your fun experiences or crazy experiences or these things maybe with them, because again, it depends on if you want to keep your family or your friends around, because a lot of the times people only are friends of convenience, and if you're traveling and not seeing them very often, that already creates distance. Then if you're this different than them, that you are masculine and you don't tolerate feminism and all this, that's also going to push away the majority of Western people. And then you start, talking about, the fun you have and, your self-expression. Again, a lot of people in America and the West, they accept misery. It's normal for them to have fights and arguments. It's normal for them to outcast their children at 18. When they're 18, they kick them out the door and they never want to see their kids again, or they've never taught them anything. They never trained them. Parents in the Western countries in America, they don't have jobs ready for them once they graduate high school. They don't have a family business for them to work at. They don't have a family farm. They just kick them out the door and expect them to survive on their own. And then we have this culture also. These types of parents are put into retirement homes for a reason. It's like, you don't want to live with these people or let these people around your children or your life or, the family that you've built. you know, when they openly hate or despise, you know, the infamous mother-in-law, you know, who wants to move in and you know, nag you and dominate you and decide how you're going to live and what you're going to do, and that you have to pay for this woman's lifestyle. You know, the infamous mother-in-law or father-in-law as well in the story, you know. A lot, again, why would, in a Western country, why would you want to do this? Because, you know, why, you know, we have this whole dynamic that's just messed up. Again, you might actually find that you want to move to another country, and or you might be tempted to. That'd be fun. But again, they feel threatened by all of this because they don't understand that, and they don't understand you. And even if you were to open up and tell them everything, you know, you know, that bothers them because they were never willing to take those risks. They were never willing to, you know, make that kind of effort. They were never willing to put in, you know, take the actions, take the initiatives, or they just don't feel comfortable with doing the things that you're doing. You know, again, I'm very accepting of other people, but for some reason in Western cultures, if somebody lives a different lifestyle than you that you don't understand, you're not willing to put in the effort to understand them. Or most Western people aren't willing to. And, you know, it bothers them that they're of a different culture or a different lifestyle. Let's continue on with this video. But again, you men out there, I hope that you understand that, you know, if you've been put down by feminism, you can go out there and possibly find, again, there's risk and there's danger, but you can go out there and find somebody who's going to be more traditional that you can possibly work with. Again, a lot of women out there are going to target you. They are looking for green cards. They are looking to come to America. A lot of these women are they are economic opportunists. But if you go over there and you might even want to move over there, you know, you might actually find some relationships and have some good experiences, and you know, you can have a little bit more control of the situation. Let's continue on with this video.
Terribly afraid of falling in love, and there's a lot of this unhealthy belief in the pickup community, in the seduction community, that falling in love is weak and that you're like a total loser when you fall in love, and that's just bullshit. Falling in love is great. If you find the right girl who's amazing, just do it. It's a journey. I mean, just because you fall in love with a girl and you end up in a relationship doesn't mean that you have to stay with her forever until the day you die and that you have to marry and have kids and all that shit.
Okay, so this is a very interesting point. So, and I do agree with him, mostly. You know, there are people who talk about falling in love, and why they talk about, you know, they assume that falling in love always leads to, you know, marriage and kids and all this, because it's like a loss of control, especially in regards to how they address it with men. You know, you as a man are supposed to like lose any type of control of the situation, and you're supposed to start to work and to sacrifice and give all of your money and do anything and everything and even protect, even die, you know, for somebody you fall in love with. Now, falling in love is nothing more than romance. It can lead up to, it can be the motivating factor, but it doesn't mean that you have to have that level of commitment. And there is even a deeper level of intimacy you can have if you both can you know, you with a woman or somebody that you're dating, that you can come with them, if you know what I mean, and actually figure out, you know, if you are compatible living with them and you also have similar values and lifestyle. That is the other component. So again, there's this thing in Western culture where if you quote unquote fall in love, which is nothing more than like lust and desire, that, you know, they assume that is something of greater value, where there's commitment and something, you know, it's genuine and it's deeper, and it's something, you know, something good and inherently more than just lust and something more than just desire. You know, falling in love is, again, it's really nothing more than that, you know. But again, you can have a deeper level of understanding of love and have a deeper love if you did actually understood each other and actually talked with each other and actually, you know, were compatible in more ways than just physically. Again, a lot of people think of love as just the physical. And again, there's this expectation as if you as a man, especially if you fall in love or you're messing with a woman, with those bonding hormones. Again, I think it is best that, two virgins possibly marry each other, but that's just not something that most people want to do. That's not ideal. I mean, that's idealistic and probably too idealistic for people, a lot of people. That's, a lot of you men watching this channel, you've already been divorced. Maybe you got divorced from your high school sweetheart. The first woman you ever loved, the first woman you ever met, the first woman, you ever had an experience with, you fell in love with her. And there are men out here like this, and they marry them, especially if they're religious. And you didn't really understand this woman. You didn't vet her. You were talking yourself into a relationship and a marriage. You weren't looking for the red flags. You weren't looking for the dangers. You weren't looking for ways to say no or reject this woman. Again, a lot of men, even if you're raised in religion and traditional households, you're being taught constantly to just accept, tolerate, and go on. And for you to suffer, in any and every inconvenience or problem or struggle, you as a man are just supposed to accept that. And if you speak out, if you talk that you're uncomfortable, if you talk about how you're in pain, if you talk about how things are tough or difficult, you are seen as a weaker man. You are supposed to have a masculine frame where you're supposed to be able to take and accept and suffer under any type of weight or any type of pain or struggle. And you're not supposed to struggle under any type of situation or circumstance. So again, you as a man, a lot of people around you, and I'm talking in this kind of manner, and I'm addressing this video in this way because if you're watching my channel, you're going to have a shift of mindset. You're going to have a shifting mindset, and the people around you are also going to start changing their ideas and how they view you. And they're also going to, possibly outcast you. So you need to be also prepared for that, or just accept that you are separate, that you are now different, and that these people are you're not necessarily dependent on your friends or even your family that you used to know. The family that you used to think was your rock, that you depended on them, or whoever it might be. You thought that you needed their acceptance, or you had to have your acceptance. You thought that you had to have the acceptance of your friends or your sister or your mother or those around you. You now know that you get to decide what kind of culture you're going to have and what kind of lifestyle you're going to have, and you have the power to decide, with romance, how involved that you want to get. Again, I think I do agree with him. A lot of you men out there have no control, so falling in love is dangerous. You have absolutely no control. But, what if you actually could have deeper, more intimate relationships, and you still had control where you necessarily didn't have to get married and necessarily have kids. I think it would be best if you did, if you did, save those experiences for a certain person and then possibly have a family. And again, marriage is off the table in most situations. But again, be very careful because again, a lot of these women are economic opportunists. They're looking to have a kid with you because if they can get a kid with you, they can weasel or figure out a way to get, for them to get a green card. And if they can't get a green card, their kid is going to become a de facto American citizen. And, they might be able to get a green card, or, if they're older, they might have to wait. Maybe years down the line, that kid, will be able to pay for their mother to come to America, and stuff like that happens all the time. So you have to be very aware of what you're getting yourself into. But again, if you're going to travel internationally, never in my opinion, you should never have the attitude to bring these women back. Now, it would be really nice if you could find a woman who wanted to work with you to fight feminism and to change American culture, have a really strong family and a really strong legacy. But that's probably going to be very difficult to find. A lot of these women who if they are wanting to come to America, They're wanting the materialism. They're wanting to play the game. And even if they are very good women, they're going to be surrounded by feminists at the workplace, at their job. They're going to be surrounded by, you know, feminists whenever, even if they aren't working and they're being traditional, they're being a housewife with you. Let's say they, you know, you do get married and or have a relationship and they do come and live with you. You know, you are legally responsible for them under American law. And not only that, you know, everybody around you, you know, your mother, even your aunt, your sisters can target this woman and try to make her a feminist and to work against you. You know, you would think that your sister or your family, your aunts, your mother, and these people would want to be working with you, but they have more of a sisterhood mentality. You'd be amazed how many of these women are actually feminist. And if you brought a traditional woman home from a foreign country, you know, and you know, even if you were a very gentle, well-spoken, good man, you know, with the best of intentions, you were working hard, working the 9 to 5, sweating and bleeding and going out there and doing everything you could, and even if you had a beautiful little relationship, a lot of these feminist women, they're going to go out of their way to ruin your relationship. They're going to find a way to try to get your, you know, your foreign bride or this foreign relationship, this woman, they're going to target that woman and try to get her to go to the clubs, to start looking and get interested in the other men, the other opportunities, especially if you find a young virgin woman, you know, they're going to try, instead of, you know, encouraging her to be loyal to you, they're going to try to ruin this woman. They're going to try to ruin her, get her tempted, go to the bar under the influence of alcohol, start being chatted up and dated, and men touching her legs and all this type of stuff. They're going to literally try to destroy your relationship and marriage because they think that, you know, they think that little of you, and they think that you are that bad of a man, no matter how good you are. No matter how good you are, they think it inherently that women should, you know, should have the privilege to go out there and cheat and have fun and do these things and take advantage of these men in these situations. And again, a lot of you men out there who are, you know, really traditional, and you think you think that with your grandfathers and your grandmothers, and these types of people, that this stuff wasn't going on in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and this stuff was definitely going on even before that. You know, this kind of stuff was going on all the time. You know, with the milkman is one of the famous ones. You know, the milkman came over, or the mailman, and he made a delivery, as they say, if you know what I mean. So do be careful, men. Even if you find a foreign woman, I'm being very forward with you. This isn't some fantasy. You know, some of you might have the perfect fairy tale ending, but you still best be very aware and very careful and figure out ways to vet. You know, if you are a divorced man, you're probably going to be getting the wheels turning, and you're going to figure out, you know, how to vet. You probably already, you know what danger signs to look for, or you're probably going to be much more careful. You younger men, and again, I'm addressing, and again, of course, you divorced men and you older men, I love you taking advantage of this situation, and also helping younger men also to be picky and choose and to find and to create and speak out and influence, you know, the culture to be what you want it to be. And again, go internationally, even if you have to find, you know, women of a decent culture and, you know, who are more traditional. But again, with these younger men, you know, you aren't ready, or maybe you haven't made yourself ready or prepared, you know, to say no, or or when to say yes. And you know, you have to train yourself again. There's going to be social norms and social customs, but also you might have to, if you don't want marriage and you don't want kids, you know, it might be hard for you to not fall in love, or it might be hard for you to resist falling in love, and you've never had much control in your life. You've never, you know, been allowed to have responsibility for yourself. You know, again, public schools and daycares and all this teach people to be emotional, and you're never responsible or accountable for your actions. a lot of you men aren't taught to be accountable to yourself, to have your own principles and your own standards. So you're going to have to learn how to set those your own principles and your own standards, and how to hold yourself accountable to the type of lifestyle that you want, the type of the kind of life that you want. And you're going to have to, find a way to evaluate, am I living up to my standards? Do I think that I'm achieving the things that I want to achieve? Am I dating the quality of women that I want to date? Or again, life isn't all about dating. It's not all about relationships, but this is a fairly big factor, and it's very significant, for cultures and for generations. You can completely take over or lose a society or a nation just based on, who's having kids or not, and that's why all these nations, these globalists and the United Nations are, pumping in all these foreign people into these countries, because they want to weaken, they want to destroy, the West, as they put it. They want to destroy America, France, Spain, Germany, Sweden, Switzerland, and all of these countries. They want them to be destroyed, because, you can't have strong, confident, intelligent people enough who are, possibly able to resist or establish themselves who are independent of the powers, of, these global bankers and these extremely powerful people. We can't have, they don't want you to become the next Rockefeller. They can be the Rockefeller. They can have 1,000 years of power. They can have dynasties and powerful families, out there, that for generations, decades, a millennium of power. But you as a family name and as a person are not allowed to have that kind of power. You're not allowed to have that kind of influence. But you can, you can start that, and you can have that. But again, you're going to have to start, fighting for more affluence and more power, and you're going to have to find ways to protect yourself and decide what you want. Again, some of y'all might just want the easy life. A lot of y'all, the red pill and the manosphere talk about moving to, the Philippines and some of these countries, and retiring cheap and just having an easy life, and just being casual out there and surviving on a minimalist life, and you're not spending an awful lot of money, but you're still having getting to date pretty young women and stuff like this. Again, my channel, Daddy Knows Best, I'm going to encourage you to, do more than that. That's fine if you want to do that. A lot of you younger men, might want to go out there and just have fun. That's fine. But if you're an older man, I think it's important that you actually start, fighting, because you don't want your sons or possibly daughters, or even if you don't have children, or even if you don't want children, you are going to not want, you're going to want to try to, at least this is the way I feel. You're going to want to leave society and help men, or just help people in general, to have a better life, and to leave the world a better place, before you die. That you've made an impact on the world. You made the world a better place. You just didn't go out there and just have fun. You didn't go out there and just sleep around or this or that. You actually went out there and you actually, had some power and some affluence, and maybe you changed some laws. Maybe you got involved in the government. Maybe you made some social changes. You changed some people's mind, like me putting out this video, putting out information and things of value, where I can, help people, give people valuable information and food for thought, and you can help, change society and make things better. I would like to think that, men would like to do that. Again, men in the past had that attitude of wanting a legacy, wanting to change and improve society, wanting to leave things better for children and the generations to come. These are the, some of the good people in the past who actually built up things like colleges, and built up some of these cities and some of these charities, and a lot of these things that have been completely taken over. Now people just see you as a man as, just grease for the cogs, just something to keep, to keep things going. You know, not only are fathers kicked out of the households, men are not supposed to be leaders of affluence. Men are not supposed to be inspiring. Men are not supposed to be giving speeches. Men are not supposed to go out there be sharing their wisdom, and men are supposed to be out there leading causes. Of course, women, especially feminists, and these people can go out there and give speeches and go on marches, and they can make demands, and they can insult men in general. They can insult and make demands upon all men, and constantly insult and constantly step on men, constantly say that men aren't good, or men aren't doing anything, that men aren't giving enough or doing enough, or that men are, you know, violent, or this, or men are, you know, are so problematic and this and that. They can do this, and you hear about this, especially if you're a younger man. You know, I was raised during this. Again, in high school, they were showing us videos, you know, and telling us that, you know, that videos, there was one that was presented that was famous, where a man and a woman went out on a date, and she said she didn't want to go out on the date, or she didn't want to do any, you know, maybe the woman was still a virgin. I don't really know or remember, but again, you know, she didn't want to go a step further, but he was really confident, and he wouldn't really leave, but he like slept in a chair or something, and then she assumed that he had done something to her or with her. There was no evidence. There was, you know, she doesn't even know if he did or didn't do anything, but it was assumed that he had done something because she had fallen asleep and he just sat there in the chair. We don't, as somebody who was watching this film as a child, you don't know if this person in this story had done something or had not done something. You know, again, this wasn't really a vintage film. I mean, it was made in like the 80s or something, but they still had the technology or some methods to test if, you know, if there was, you know, some remnants or some bodily fluids left over, if you know what I mean. And there was no evidence. They tested, and there was no evidence of anything on clothes or anything that was done to her. And you watching this film, you know, we were told, and you're supposed to get the impression that even if you know, something is unknown, the man is still assumed to be the victim. And also it, you know, you as a man also have done something very wrong if she's just uncomfortable. Even if the woman is just uncomfortable, or even if she thinks that you could possibly have done something bad, you know, even if there is the doubt of something, you as a man are supposed to be outcasted or possibly even be put in jail just because some woman doesn't, quote unquote, believe that you fit into society, or that, you know, you're doing what, you know, the women at, you know, in general want you to do. And that's why, again, they are fighting international dating like this so much. And you might be like, really? And I'm like, yes, this is one of the reasons I'm making these videos. Feminist women and international women are constantly trying to control and find information and prevent, you know, men not only learning about international dating, but taking it upon themselves to take advantage of these situations. This is one of the reasons why they're proposing and trying to actually make it a law that men, once you become 35 or 40, whenever you actually become, you know, economically powerful enough to travel and become, you know, financially, you know, have all this, you know, wealth and this opportunity, and it also makes you attractive to women all around the world, you know, they want to, you know, make it so that you can't have children, because again, in the past, it was very normal for a 35 or 40-year-old man to marry somebody who was 18 or even younger. That was very normal, and for you to have a family, or, you know, and especially if you were a very wealthy man who came and visited another country, if you were like a millionaire in today's money, if you were especially if you were a multi-millionaire and you went to another country, men in foreign nations would actually expect you to have a harem, and that would be normal. That would be expected. If you didn't have a harem and you were that wealthy, like a multimillionaire in today's money, and whenever you went to a foreign country, and let's say you moved there and you actually wanted to live there, they would think it's very strange if you as a man did not have a harem or a harem. And I'm not suggesting that you as a man go out there and start a harem. Maybe maybe you want to, but I'm just trying to put this out there as an example. Because modern feminist women don't even want for you to have the opportunity to, even if you go to these foreign countries, they're going to make laws and try to, wherever you were born, and if you were born in a Western country, let's say America, they're going to try to make ways so they can punish you for dating internationally or dating overseas. They're going to try to find ways to make you vulnerable, so these foreign women can possibly take even more advantage of you, even with all the risk and all the dangers and all the commitments that you might make or try to avoid. They're going to try to figure out, how to get you on the hook so if you ever do date or come across a feminist woman overseas in a foreign country, or maybe she just wants to take advantage of you, she thinks that would be good, or that you should be punished. Because you are quote unquote victimizing these women, that you are somehow hurting these women or dominating these women or doing something wrong when you're just looking for a fair exchange. In fact, you as a man going out there, you're looking for a fair exchange, if not the opportunity to give a woman a privilege. Again, they want to talk about men's privilege all the time. You as a man going out there internationally, and let's say you are even 40 or possibly even older. Imagine the privilege that a woman gets if you decide to marry let's say 35, 40, 45, whatever. Let's say you decide to go internationally and you do find, an 18-year-old, let's say even say she's a virgin, because people would flip out and freak out about that these days. Let's say you get into that her social circle and her family loves you, and let's say you even do want to be a loyal man, and you're gonna settle. Back in the day they would say, put down your roots, settle down, take it easy, and you're gonna have the family and the picket fence, and you're gonna take care of everything and take care of this woman and love her. There's feminists out there who would think that would be despicable and that would be evil. But imagine the privilege that woman has. All that woman had to do was eat and sleep, wake up every morning, eat, sleep, wake up every morning. A lot of these women are extremely attractive, even if they don't work out, especially when they're younger. And you as a man had, for 20 years or more, you had to escape feminism. You had to experience all the pains of feminism. You had to be put down, have all kinds of expectations put upon you. You had to work hard for like 20 years. You had to suffer. You had to bleed. You had to sweat for 20 years. You had to pay taxes. You had to learn. You had to have, go through pains and struggles and go through all of these things. And you show up and you offer the world to an 18-year-old woman. You offer her, healthy, amazing children. You offer her a lifestyle that she could only imagine. You're boosting her status. Her children are going to be higher status. You have intelligence, you have experiences, you're training and you're protecting the children. And again, if you're from internationally, you probably have better social skills. You probably are more talented, and you're more well-spoken. You might be bilingual. Imagine all the things that you bring to the table as a man, that you are offering to a woman. You are giving these things, and these feminist women have the audacity to think that is one of the most evil things imaginable, that you as a man go out there as if you're 40 or 45 and go out there and find an 18-year-old like virgin woman who loves you and who likes you, and her father and her family also think that you're an amazing guy. No, these feminist women, of course they're jealous, of course they're bitter, of course they're cat women and all this, meow meow, but there's, on the other hand, they would actively go out and seek to destroy your happiness and destroy that relationship. I hope that you know that they would do this, and they openly do this. That is why we don't have fathers in these households in the West, and fathers are cast out of society. And you people who even bring that up, like, where are the fathers in in households? Where, I mean, it's because they use governments, and they benefit women in divorces. There's motivation for women to get divorced. They get prizes, they get money, they get to steal from men, and also laws and different ways that they control society as well. That's how women do all this, because I want to be very clear about that, because a lot of men don't understand how these kinds of things happen, or people are confused. Women openly target and use the government, and that's why I mention men. You need to become the lawyers, you need to become the judges, you need to become the senators, and get into public offices and use your influence for good, and speak out, because there are people who will agree with you, and there are people who will work with you, and there are people who have good, similar, common beliefs to you, and they also want to build up society and make people happy, and make your country great or successful or whatever it might be. But these people openly are willing to destroy your lives and your happiness, and even your economy, destroy your entire economy, if, you know, they think they get some kind of benefit. And I was going to make this whole, I feel like I am on a streak, and I'm going to make a separate video. I actually had 2 or 3 more tabs completely of content that I was going to make, but I'm speaking from the heart, and I'm going to separate this and maybe into a part 2. I haven't really done a part 2 on this channel. Maybe we'll do a part 2 for one time. Let's continue on with his video. We'll try to finish this video here today, and there's a lot more to talk about. There's some really good points that he makes, so let's continue, my friends. Let's continue on.
It's just a relationship is an experience to grow, to figure out who you are, what you want, and yeah, it's a valuable lesson. And the one thing I can guarantee you, it's just, it happens all the time. And it happened to me too. Once you are overseas for quite a while, you will meet girls who are so amazing, so feminine, so loyal, and so, yeah, supportive, caring. All these feminine qualities that you can't find in your home country.
I wanted to stop there real quick, and I'm going to make this comment right here pretty quick, but when's the last time you've met a woman who's loyal? You know, you might find or see some of these elderly couples and people who are loyal, but there's something more to loyalty than just staying. I mean, that's a part of it. So if you are going to go staying married, and you are committed, and you don't divorce, you know, your spouse or your husband or whatever, that's a part of it. But how many of these women, you know, continue to try to stay fit or healthy or attractive, you know, into their older age? How many of these women, as soon as they get married, they allow themselves to get fat, they chop off their hair, they stop acting gentle, they stop acting feminine, they stop flirting with you, especially after they have a kid? You know, again, women in general, this is a double-edged sword, because women have more drive than society hints at. They do have more of a desire. They do like men more than they let on. But on the other hand, they do have less of a drive overall than men do. So I hope that makes sense. They have less drive than men, but they do have more. They hide what they do have as far as their desire goes. And, you know, women in foreign countries are not only going to show you that desire and their qualities and what they want, but they're going to want to build, you know, whatever kind of relationship that you have. You know, Western women, you know, once they get a few of the things that they want, they feel like those kinds of things are established, and that you're also on the hook. You know, you have to continually, like, you're on the monthly plan. You know, you're on the subscription fee. You know, her subscription fee that you have to pay monthly, you know, monthly payments of services and duties, and making her feel good, you know, to whenever she wants to allow you to, you know, to have fun, you know, for you two to have fun. She uses, you know, this is a topic that's been talked about many times on men's channels, but she holds, you know, her intimacy and her love and her body as a weapon against you so she can get extra benefits and she can get more out of you. And this is seen as very normal in Western countries, and in the East and other countries, they know that if they don't give that up to you, again, some are more religious. There's definitely some different cultural norms and all these factors. But in general, they know that if they're not constantly giving, you know, their body over to you or being consistent with you, and you know, that they can be replaced, and that you could easily just go find another woman to, you know. But in the West, that's seen as extremely taboo. You know, you as a man, you're supposed to be on the hook. And again, they can, in Western countries, a woman can divorce you for any reason. And if you cheat on a woman as a man, they're gonna, I mean, they already take advantage of you in divorce court and steal everything, but they'll throw the whole darn book at you. And lawyers and judges will have the audacity to even insult you. You know, again, you shouldn't go out there and you shouldn't be cheating. But the times where men do cheat, again, women act in the West. They say that, oh, you know, I wanted some more fun, or I was bored, or he just wasn't fulfilling me enough. You know, these women make these kinds of little lies in the West for when they cheat, whenever they make these bad decisions. But they're just going out there because, you know, they're bored and they don't motivate themselves, and they don't have the attitude to where they're wanting to work and build up a better and stronger relationship with you. They still have this party girl phase where they just want to have fun in the sun, and they want to do hot girl summer as long as they possibly can, and even divorce you and go date some even more affluent men, go on some cruises and go to, you know, some big vacations, and try to find even a wealthier man. And that's why you know, some of these women, they love the Prince Harry story because they got to see their little fantasy in action. You know, some woman on daddy's money who had slept around, who played around, had a bad attitude, it was a little feminist, you know, got to go to fancy cruises and hotels, and got to Target and got to marry Prince Harry, you know, arguably the most attractive, wealthy, highest status man. You know, we got, you know, DiCaprio and some of these people who might be considered more attractive, you know, famous actors. There's a few famous actors, but as far as like status and the overall package, you know, Prince Harry was it. You know, he was it. And this, you know, some old, yeah, she was like 29 or 30 or something at least. You know, some older woman, feminist, really not that attractive. I mean, she's fairly attractive, but, you know, wasn't on his level. And she got everything, and then got to fight and abuse and use. And if you want to look into that story, it's a mess. And he is being used and abused, and essentially she got him outcasted from his family, and it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And that's considered a feminist, you know, that's a feminist dream. That's every little Disney princess's favorite little dream, you know, would be to, you know, have that kind of life. When they see that, when they have their little princess fairy tales and Prince Charming and all this, that's the kind of thing that they want. They want to find a prince when they're older. They built up a career. They've had their fun, and now they want to find, you know, and then they think when they're old and their, you know, their age is you know, their value's decreasing, they're less attractive, their beauty's going down. They think that they should, you know, settle down with the highest value man that they can get, and possibly think that they should get the most valuable man in the world. They think that they should be able to get a man that was just as high value or even higher value than they could when they were 18, 19, 20. You know, these 30-year-old women literally think that they should be able to get the same kind of man, if not better, than they could when they were 18, 19, and 20. That's how delusional they are. But let's continue on with this point. Let's continue on with this video. I'm sorry. I am... we got to focus over here.
You will fall in love. And the beauty about this process is that you experience what relationships should be. The dynamic.
Yes. Because again, dating and relationships in the West are all based on money and what the woman quote unquote feels. And again, they act as if you are focused on power dynamics. These women are poisoned by feminism, and they don't allow themselves to fall in love or be flirtatious with you. When's the last time you had a woman, fall in love or express, attraction to you? When's the last time you had a woman in the West, be actually really flirtatious and actually really friendly, and also, be willing to, show her true side, the actual side of herself. A lot of Western feminist type women, they don't even, they're not even friendly or honest or open, even in the bedroom. Even, if she's a Netflix and chill, even if she's a booty call, she's still not even feminine. She's still not even really, actually, what flirtatiousness even is. A lot of these women don't even know what it is. Let's continue on with this video, though.
That you will experience when you date outside of the West. African women, Asian women, South American women, whatever, or Eastern European women, anything outside the Western world. You will experience those dynamics that the women expect you to be manly, and they actually, they are feminine. It's hard to believe when you live in a Western country where all the girls behave like men and where they can drink like daddy but can't cook like mommy. But
that's a really good point, because again, I make this point once again. I went to a religious private college. And even there, I was masculine and confident. I stood up straight. And I could tell sometimes women felt not intimidated. I wasn't being rude. I wasn't staring down. I wasn't scowling. I wasn't insulting women. I wasn't doing anything wrong. But you, as a man, standing up strong, tall and strong, you being confident, you're not one of these guys out here with skinny jeans who's cowering, who's acting weak. You as a man standing up strong, your chest out, you got, you do have some muscles on your arm. There's women who openly were offended by that. They openly intimidated, and they would openly want to compete with you, and they would openly, attempt to start arguments with me, because, they wanted to become more masculine or be more masculine. I had far more experiences, and again, these. And I can only imagine how bad it is at liberal colleges or other colleges. When I went to a religious private college, and these were supposed to be feminist women. They still had a home education class, where women were taught some basic skills and abilities, if they wanted to essentially become mothers. That class was still available. That's not available at most colleges. That's extremely taboo. But even then, these women, half of them, or many more, were just aggressive or rude or wanted to start arguments. Very few were ever flirtatious or girly. It's very rare, and it shows in how they dress and how they act, and even how they talk. A lot of these modern Western women, I don't even like how they talk, and I don't even like how they look. And you as a man are expected to accept this. A lot of you men out there think it's normal for you to start a relationship with a woman who wants to argue with you or challenge you. Are you a good enough man for her? How much are you going to do for me? What are you giving to me? It's normal for you. You've been trained, but by feminist single mothers and these types of our culture, that our bad culture in the West, where you're supposed to work with a woman or date or marry a woman like that, and again, there's little to no expectations upon her. If you try to hold her accountable, if you try to, get her to apologize or work with you or fix a problem, you're always the problem. The man is always the one making the mistakes. The man, can't be confident. The man can't ever say no. When's the last time you ever heard of or saw a husband tell a woman no? When's the last time you've ever heard of or you saw a situation where the man, put the woman in the doghouse? It's normal in our culture for the woman to make the man sleep on the couch or sleep outside or kick the man out of the house. You know, the man in Eastern countries, you know, if you worked for that house as a man, you earn that house. It's your house. The woman doesn't have the right to steal the house or demand or control the household. You know, I mean, you're both working together. You both have power and influence. But if there's a disagreement in the home, and there's a fight, or you know, or she's just being, you know, making all these bad, you know, bad decisions, or you know, she's being a problem. You know, if anybody should be in the doghouse, it should be the woman. But it's culturally, you know, if you say that to American people or American men, that's shocking to them, because they think it's normal, you know, for the woman to put you in the doghouse. You know, imagine if you as a man go marry a foreign woman, and even her dad approves of you, you know, but you know, punishing or possibly even divorcing that woman if she steps way out of line. You know, again, we talked about you being 35, 40, 45. What if you did marry a virgin woman, and then, you know, she cheats on you? It's highly likely in these foreign countries. I mean, it depends. It depends on the family and the culture. Again, all these things are different factors. But you could literally, it's possible. It's not a guarantee, but it's possible that the father and even the mother is going to side with you. Now, if you have a kid with this woman and she cheats on you, now they're probably going to side with the mother because they want that child. But now, if you are able to get a blood test going, if that child isn't even your child, and your wife cheated on you, her family is likely to disown her and possibly even adopt you as the new quote unquote son. Especially if you are living there and you're still you know, still working with her family and still care about her family. And you know, let's say if you did have a kid, and she decides that she doesn't really like you that much anymore, and she wants to leave that kid and run off somewhere. You know, she got married to you when she was 18, and now she's 20, and she wants to get rid of that kid, and she wants to go somewhere. You know, let's say you become a single father. That family is likely to adopt you. That is that's unimaginable to Western people. You know, feminists, that is crazy to them. That is unacceptable. But that's how it should be. You know, that's equality. I mean, that's fairness. These feminists don't care about equality. I just wanted to bring that up because a lot of you men, you know, again, you've been so mistreated. You know, you don't have any standards or don't expect to even be treated fairly. You don't even expect to be treated fairly in marriages or divorce or relationships or culturally. It's assumed that you assume that you'll never be treated with any respect. It's normal. You think it's normal for women to just be constantly insulting you and constantly making demands of you and constantly telling you that you ain't nothing and you ain't that, and that you're, you know, that you're a failure, or that you're not, that you should be making even, you know, more and more money, you know, for with women's raising expectations. And they act like it's normal for them to want more and more and more. No matter how wealthy you are, no matter how much you give. And a reason also why that kind of problem exists is because, again, you are supposed to be an older man dating a younger woman. And she's also not supposed to be out here, really, honestly, she's not supposed to be working out here and have these types of expectations. Really. She's not supposed to, you know, date 20, 30, 40, 50 men, you know, before she graduates high school. You know, these women, you know, you think that you'd be getting a virgin or a woman with little experience right out of high school. We're not even talking about college. We're talking about high school. If you got to marry in a Western country, she still had 20, 30, 40, 50 men. You know, she could be used, and she, you know, she, you know, if you know what I'm saying, she could be used and worn out even at 18 years old. And you as a man are you're supposed to be considered lucky if you did get to date or marry one of these 18-year-old women, modern feminist women just coming out of high school, you know, who probably distrust you and probably hate you and all this kind of stuff. You'd be considered lucky or fortunate, or there's something wrong with you as a man. And you as a man, I mean, let's say you waited, you were a man and you waited, you were a virgin. Women, I mean, these feminist women just, they will ignore you. They don't even want to acknowledge that you exist. Let's say you are 30 or 35 or 40, you play the long game. A lot of you men are deciding to become monks, and I've seen you on the internet. You're 20, 25, and they're even younger, and these men are just not dating at all, or dating little, or they're even swearing off Western women. And this is why I talk about foreign dating, is, again, there's all these dangers and all these things, and feminism is all over the world. There's, you know, you're still putting yourself in a whole lot of trouble. But there's the if you are, you know, freedom-minded, if you are red pill, if you are in the manosphere, there is the potential, you know, and it also will make your argument even stronger. If you are intelligent, if you make a success of yourself, if you save up your money, and you also, you know, start traveling internationally, you know, at first you might not even find that you want marriage. Maybe you will eventually. Some of you will want marriage and the kids at first, and maybe you'll grow out of it. Maybe you won't even want it. You know, the kids and the family. But again, you know, there is influence and power through the generations that you put out. You know, you teach your legacy, and you teach and influence an upcoming generation. Now, you can do that and have much more influence, arguably, even by doing a podcast or doing something like this here with a presentation like a video. You can have influence over the generations by, you know, producing things of value, you know, speaking and putting your thoughts out there and being an influence. You don't necessarily have to have kids to be an influence. Because again, having kids in this world in general is so highly risky for men. It's so dangerous. But again, if you as a man do want to do that, because you potentially could, you know, have it be an influence and a leader and set, you know, things for generations of influence down with potential children. Again, I think it's a lot of red pill and quote unquote MGTOW people. They either have indirectly or possibly directly been misguided, or are being told to, you know, essentially make themselves become obsolete or extinct. Because a lot of you men who do have principles, who do want to wait out, who do have some honor or have some decency about you, or maybe maybe you just were a little bit more loyal or just a little bit more honest to the point where these women thought you were boring and they just decided to divorce you. You know, if you're an older man, maybe you were just a little bit too loyal or a little bit too honest. You know, there is an opportunity for you, you know, to possibly find somebody like-minded. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a guarantee. But imagine if you know, red pill people actually started trying to go out there and started being picky, started saying yes or no. Imagine if we had this culture and this cultural shift. Because again, a lot of you red pill people are quote unquote manosphere people. They teach pump and dump culture. That used to be very common, and there's still some of these pickup artists like Donovan Sharp and Man in Cars and some of these people who are absolutely fake and absolutely just want to take advantage of you and take your money and be your quote unquote dating guru. But imagine if you were going out there and again, you maybe waited to be a virgin, or maybe you just let your expectations be known. You would start actually influencing society. This is why I think it's possibly a trap to be, you know, men who are going out there and going away from society. Because if you just go away, you could be seen as the other man. You can be seen as the outcast. You can be seen as a threat to the collective, or a threat to the community, the communita. And they can just tax you more. They can outcast you. They can ignore you. But if you are actually here and you're actually saying no, and you're actually rejecting, yeah, you'll get pushback. Yeah, you'll get hated. Yes, they'll probably write blogs and articles, and some of you men might get on the national news. But imagine this kind of social change that we could have. I'm making this point again because imagine if you as a man were a supermodel, or imagine if we got somebody influential, a young man who's a virgin, who's a supermodel at like 25, and he's out here and rejecting Western women and who are feminist. You know, he's a virgin, and he says he's only going to date or marry virgin women or something like this. And I'm not encouraging people out here, like men who just target virgin women or something crazy like that. I think that's wrong, and I think it's kind of unhealthy. You know, these women possibly could have found, you know, husbands, or possibly could have been loyal, or possibly could, you know, this pickup culture is partly what encourages and motivates feminists to be this way, because they assume that men are I mean, it's a wrong assumption, but it's something that they can twist, and they can, you know, believe that, you know, is, you know, where men are being aggressors and men are being, you know, taking advantage of women and all this. Imagine, you know, if men at large just started becoming virgins. And again, then you might just be forgotten. You know, you might just get replaced by the immigrants and the refugees. That makes it so good men of honor, men of principle, men of character, you're just going to get replaced by, you know, the men on the top who are having the harems, and you're also going to just get replaced by, you know, the lower class, who's just going to outbreed you. Simply put, they're just going to outbreed you. So you as a man, again, your only real option, in my opinion, is to, you know, go international and find somebody who's like-minded. Because again, in Western countries, daycares, public schools, high schools, and especially colleges are conditioning these women to distrust and hate you, and have a mindset of, you know, what do I get next from a man, or how much money do I get from a man? And they openly hate the idea of being in the kitchen. They openly hate the idea of raising children. They want to put your children in daycares. They want to, you know, have the state raise these children. And these women are much more accepting, or the majority of them seem to accept, you know, your young boys, or your son possibly being put in a dress, or given hormone treatments, or even transitioning. You know, these modern feminist women, they don't care if your sons get destroyed and you know, made less masculine, or, you know, and all these problems. I mean, and of course also all this, the other consequences of all the government. I mean, not only these social and genetic things that they influence, but government wise, where again our economies are destroyed, and there's fewer little opportunities for men to succeed. And then there's still the expectation where a man still has to make 3 times as much money as a woman, you know, in the West, and she still thinks she's settling. You know, a man has to make at least 3 times as much money, and then she's still settling. She can still cheat. She can still divorce. She can still do whatever the heck she wants. But the man still has to be making 3 times as much money than her, even though she gets all the benefits and all the money, the scholarships and all the grants. And 60 and 70% of these women are the ones in college, and only like 30% or so are men are the ones in colleges now. We are about to see a complete collapse in the dating market. And there's going to be women who are more demanding in the West. They're going to get more angry. They're going to get louder. They're going to say, where are the good men? They're going to say, where are men in general? They're no longer even going to say, where are the good men? They're going to say, where are men in general? Because men there's going to be less men hired at corporate jobs. They already have affirmative action. You know, not only are women preferred, you know, at corporations and these job and workplaces, but so-called minorities are going to are given preferential treatment, and now we have trans who are also going to be given preferential treatment in regards to jobs. So who's the lowest on the totem pole? Who's being pushed? Who's being kicked out of society? You know, it's men. No, it doesn't matter how smart of a man you are, how well you performed, how educated you are. You know, how you know, if you meet all the right check boxes on the social credit, your social credit score, if you know what I mean. That really doesn't matter that much. You as a man inherently are just going to be given less opportunities and less jobs, and there's going to be more women who are not only given the opportunities or the positions, but, you know, again, they're going to have more of them are going to have the college degrees in the first place. So don't be surprised when men overall have less of the wealth in the country, and then they're going to start complaining, you know, when there's less men who are actually making less money, and there's going to be less and less of these wealthy men and less of these successful men, so they're going to have less opportunities to, you know, monkey branch or move, you know, in Western countries, less chances to cheat on their husbands or find a potential husband at the workplace. They're not going to be able to marry their boss or, you know, these kinds of things. They're not going to be able to, you know, they act like it's victimhood if they, you know, did something for the boss, if you know what I mean, and got a promotion. But they're no longer going to have those types of opportunities in the future. They're going to, the whole way, you know, they're going to continue to act as if they're victims through all of this. You know, there's going to be less men around because, you know, these feminists actively abort men or their sons. You know, there's less men who are born, and then they're targeted. These young men are targeted to become transgender and transition. So then there's less men. And then there's these men who are waking up who also don't realize that they don't want to be abused. So, you know, the red pill and all these people. And then there's also going to be a sector or group of these young men who are just going to be confused and messed up. And they're not going to know, they've never seen a masculine role model in their whole life. You know, imagine if you're a young little boy right now. Batman isn't masculine. They've destroyed Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know, not only do they not have a father in their life, there's no men who teach them at their public school. And if there is like one man in the school, he's probably a feminist too. And even when they go to college, most professors are not men, and most professors are, you know, even if they are a man at a college, they're probably a feminist. So you as a man could literally, I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. You could become 25, get out of, you know, raised in daycare, raised in public school, raised in high school, you know, went to college, and you literally could, you know, the modern young upcoming man could have never seen a masculine role model in his entire life. He didn't have a father in the household. He didn't have a grandfather who taught him anything. He's never seen a masculine man and heard a masculine man. So that's why if you develop your masculine presence and this kind of character and this quality, and especially if you date foreign and then you even become more masculine, that's why another reason I brought this up is because they are automatically going to be intimidated by you. Not only do women automatically just want to fight you and they feel threatened and they don't know how to address or to approach a masculine man, a lot of these really weak men are either going to be afraid of you, or they're going to, you know, want to destroy you one way or another, get you kicked out of your job and all this. And it's happened it's happened to me. Like, again, I've been around groups of women and they all liked me and they all wanted me. And I wasn't interested in any of them. They all had bad personalities, and none of them were attractive to me. But it wasn't even out of jealousy. These weak, pathetic men openly thought that I was somehow a bad man. You know, even though I didn't date any of them, I didn't even hold any of their hands, I didn't even kiss any of them, I didn't do anything. And I was inherently a bad man because I was masculine. You know, I had a masculine frame in the West. So again, I bring this up because as you continue, if you do decide to date foreign, if you've been messing with this idea, watching videos and, you know, learning about different countries and different cultures and looking at all these beautiful women across the world, that enough is enough to, you know, make you more masculine. And it also makes you feel more masculine, you know, once you know, see the beauty of other women. And it also almost motivates you to want to become a stronger, more confident, honestly more powerful man, because, you know, we both work with each other, you know, with their differences. You inherently want to become even stronger so you could possibly fight for or protect or impress, you know, one of these, you know, beautiful women from these foreign countries. I mean, you as a man, what are you fighting for if you're in the West? I mean, you can fight for your freedom, or you can stand up and you can, you know, try to express how things should be changed or how things should be made, you know, be made fair, because of course feminism doesn't care about equality and all this. But as in regards to dating, in regards to relationships, what are the chances that you're going to ever find anybody who's actually feminine? What are the chances that you're actually going to find somebody, even if they look feminine or act kind of feminine? What are the chances of them actually, you know, wanting to work with you, actually wanting to, you know, date you, work with you, see a relationship as a give and take? You know, she's not asking or looking for all of your money. Or a woman, if you do want a marriage and kids and all that, that you actually find a woman who is fair or decent, and also will not only will accept a prenuptial agreement, but you know, she's actually possibly even a virgin, and, you know, she's willing and ready to sign that legal prenuptial agreement in front of judges and lawyers and have it all recorded and you have to post it on the internet. And again, judges in this corrupt nation can still possibly throw that out. But that is how far you have to go. If a woman, you know, I mean, imagine how hard that is in a Western country to find a young, attractive, possibly virgin woman who's willing to sign a prenuptial agreement in front of lawyers and judges, and for that to be posted on the internet. Good luck. Good luck. You're more likely to be made fun of by TikTokers than ever finding that kind of woman. You're more likely to be, you know, be made fun of by somebody on TikTok, you know. Anyways, let's continue on with this video. I didn't know I was going to be able to make a huge video out of this one video, but Daddy's got some wisdom for you. So let's continue on, and let's try to wrap this video up.
If you date outside of the Western world, you will have women who take care of you, who cook for you, who, I don't know, who wash your clothes, who are just amazing girlfriends. But on the other hand, they also expect you to lead and to be there for them, to protect them, to be their leader. And it's just this healthy male-female dynamic that men all over the West are missing, that you will experience then. And then it will be impossible for you to ever go back in those kind of relationships that a lot of guys who never traveled anywhere have. Like those guys who are together with their girlfriends for years, and every time they go out, the girlfriends are like, don't say that, that's not good, don't do that, no, that's bad, stop that now, oh, you make yourself ridiculous, hit.
Okay, well, let me make a quick point about this. Again, we're trying to wrap up this video and get through it. We're only halfway through the video, and I think I've probably spoken on this video probably an hour. I've probably spoken a whole hour already. But in my opinion, this guy doesn't even sound masculine. And he's been able to have success and have fun and travel internationally. This guy, you know, doesn't even sound masculine to me. He doesn't even sound that confident. But again, even he has higher expectations, and he doesn't allow himself to be nagged. He'll walk away. You know, you don't even have to argue with these women. It's not worth your time. And if you do raise your voice, or especially if you happen to threaten a woman, in these Western countries, they can easily just call the cops and get you thrown in jail. So it's not even worth arguing with a woman. Don't even raise your voice. Just walk away. It's probably, you know, when women try to argue with you, or they say something ridiculous, they'll get the message, or they'll just get confused and angry. But again, a lot of women, I mean men, just accept really women who nag and demand, and they play games. And again, he mentions this thing where you're not even allowed to go out with your friends. And yes, people have made videos about this before, but I wanted to mention this here real quick. Again, it's normal for a man and a woman, if they're committed, if they're having a relationship, especially if they're married, and if they have kids. I mean, you have a lot of responsibilities. You have a lot of things to do. You don't have time to waste. It's normal for you to, maybe have to give up some lifestyles or some hobbies, and maybe even some friends. But again, Western women want you to sacrifice all of your hobbies and all of your friends and do everything for her. She doesn't have to sacrifice her hobbies. She doesn't have to sacrifice her friends. She doesn't have to sacrifice her lifestyle, but you do as a man. And if you ever go out or want to do anything with a potential friend, especially if that man is single, you know the reason why she does that, right? Is because if she's going out there with her friends, they're most likely going to bars. They're most likely going out there to meet new men, even if they don't have the intention to meet new men or to find a new man, or even if this woman does not have the intention to replace you or divorce you. You know that there's men out there who, will, they'll have some fun with just about anything. So this woman doesn't even have to go out there looking for trouble. If you are a man who's more attractive than this woman, or maybe you're equal, or whatever the situation is, especially if you're more attractive than this woman and she's lazy too, she doesn't want you going out there with your friends, because you're going to meet and possibly talk to somebody who's more attractive than her. Some woman who is not only more attractive than her, a woman who's more friendly, more honest, more genuine, more flirtatious. And again, this is why Western women they want to take away the option, and they don't even want you to know that you have the opportunity to go and date foreign women and women internationally. They don't want you to have this type of opportunity and this kind of power. Most of the time, they're not willing to put in the effort. And if they go and they travel internationally, they're going for hot girl summer. They're just going for fun. Most of the time, they don't want to build up families. And they don't care, they don't actually care about other people and other cultures. And they don't bother to learn anything or do anything, of value with that time. They just have fun and sausages thrown at them, if you know what I mean. And, but you as a man, they know that you possibly will fall in love or get dedicated or want to build up or encourage, and there's so much that you can do to make changes. And they know that you take action. They don't want you to take that kind of action, Anyways, my message here real quick is, just don't accept any arguments, any back talk. It's not normal to argue with your girlfriend. It's not normal to, have debates with your girlfriend. It's not normal for your girlfriend to bring up The View or Oprah Winfrey, or bring up some kind of talking point from some ridiculous talk show host, and where she gets to challenge you or evaluate you, if you are, if you quote unquote care enough about the relationship. Again, you have to prove yourself. If you are committing enough or doing enough or invested enough in the relationship. But of course, you don't put expectations on her, and she won't tolerate or accept you putting expectations upon her. Of course not. You as a man can't have those expectations, Let's continue on with this video.
I mean, I have some friends who it happens all the time, and I sit there and I go like, why, what? Like, for me, it's completely out of my reality to ever date such a girl again. Completely. I cannot logically understand, because I got exposed to so many beautiful, loyal, feminine, and just amazing women over the past couple of years that I would never, ever, ever consider that. It's just mind-blowing for me. And
I wanted to add to this real quick. Again, I talked about the argumentative women, but how many women are passive aggressive, or they just they play, they act cold towards you, or they play the little silent game, or they they play the little game where you're supposed to guess or to figure out what she wants, or figure out what she's thinking, or figure out what she wants to eat. There's all kinds of terrible games and terrible things that these modern women types try to do. You're supposed to know what she wants. It's one thing if you're in a relationship and you actually understand each other and you're actually working with each other, but still there's not communication. She never communicates when she's unhappy, or she never communicates, her expectation that if she feels a certain way that you're going to do a certain thing. And of course, if she has wants or needs or expectations, you as a man, you're not allowed to have any wants, needs, or expectations. It's like these Western women, they won't even put out, you have to go and do extra and go over and beyond and be Superman, even if she's going to even do anything with you. And that's more in a marriage or an actual relationship. So anyways, let's continue on with this video and see what we have.
Once you step over the border. And of course, by traveling the world and being a global seducer and going out there and meeting amazing women, meeting women from different cultural backgrounds, from different races, your life will be filled with so many unforgettable experiences. It's just, I can't even put it into words. You have to experience it for yourself. And of course, in the process of doing this, your perception about adventure, or about your dream life, or about your dream relationships, all those kind of things will change. I mean, some people who never traveled and who never seduced women from other countries, for them it's adventurous to go on a, binge drinking party holiday in Ibiza or something. For you, you would just be like, fuck that shit. I want to go somewhere to South America, have an apartment there, have some chicks there, have an amazing time. I don't want to binge drink myself to death and pay money for that. So your perception about what you really want will change in the process.
Okay, makes a really good point here, is that you as a man in the West are taught to maybe even not build yourself up, because you limit yourself, again, according to the women, and you put yourself in the mind frame that you accept that there's nothing better for you, that there's women, this is the best it's going to get. These are the women that you have to deal with, these bad attitudes, these feminists, these angry women, these jealous women, these vindictive, these women who, they don't have any class or any culture, or they're not feminine. And you as a man could be saving your money to travel. How many times are you, trying to, you're not saving, or you're not working to build yourself up. Instead, he uses drinking as an example, which is a pretty good one. But how many of you men out there are, buying, the next car, or doing something that you think gives you status, when you just make yourself a target, in your Western country? You buy the new car, or you're doing something, that just makes you more vulnerable, possibly, or just something that doesn't really, it doesn't really satisfy you. How many of you are actually working towards your goals, your hobbies, building up a business, where you are, developing a product or a good, or are able to put something out there in the world, or doing something that you actually believe in? Even if you're working a 9-to-5 job where you work, are you working somewhere where you think that company provides a good service or a good product, or is doing something, good or decent? you as a man, you're not supposed to just work somewhere where you're indifferent, or maybe you even hate, where you work. Maybe you disagree with the company's policy or the mission of the company. A lot of you men think that you have to just work somewhere even if it makes you unhappy. You have to work a job even if it makes you suffer. And yes, some jobs are important, necessary, and they're repetitive. But some people like repetitive work. It's consistent, it's secure. It all depends on you. But if some people would hate working construction jobs, for example. Some people might love it. But construction jobs actually make houses, actually produce something of value. How many of you are actually working at a business that you think does something of value, or that you are able to have some influence or affluence over that? How many of you men, feel like you're working towards goals or something of value where you are satisfied? And I bring all this up because, again, this, in my opinion, with Red Pill and the Manosphere, being able to figure out how to travel internationally or save enough money or find somebody who's like-minded, it can be a motivating factor. Again, dating shouldn't be the most important thing in my opinion, but it is something that's very important and pretty essential to humanity, having children, and also finding and having friends and experiences and developing yourself, and even finding figuring out who you are, and even figuring out where you want to live, or the lifestyle that you want, or even figuring out, if you do, again, possibly want to have a family. It's like, what options do you have? I mean, there's, you got to go around and date around and try to figure out who you would even like, or what you even like. A lot of you men out there have no idea what you like. So, maybe you need to make some changes in your life. Maybe you need to, start saving that money or investing that money, or figuring out, again, a lot of people focus on the investments and the Bitcoins and all this. You really need to figure out how to make, a lot of you need to figure out how to gain influence and how to gain more money. It's not, and investments are important. Investments are a way to grow in money, but you have to have some money, not always, but you need some, if you are building that stability, investing is a way to build that stability and a foundation. You're going to have to be making money to build that greater stability of investments, in the future. But remember, you have to start somewhere. You have to be, working a career or an actual job, or actually have a business, or own something, producing, doing, achieving something, where you feel satisfied and you're making enough money. That's something to figure out. I feel like a lot of you men out there, again, you're not motivated. You're less motivated because the women around you, they're not that great. We both men and women influence each other. Again, you men out there are not putting your expectations, your wants, and your needs, you're not letting them be known. You're not influencing women to become or adapt or choose to be what you would like. And you're silent, and so you just suffer, and you don't even talk to like-minded men. You don't get involved. You just suffer alone. And you're taught, and you think that that's normal. For you to suffer alone, and, you don't see that there's, potential dating opportunities around you, because there are potential dating opportunities around you. But they might be in another country. They might be across the world. They might be across the ocean. It really depends. So let's finish up this video. Let's continue.
And I think personally for me, the most valuable thing foreign dating, or let's say also the most dangerous thing, is that you won't take the shit that your friends take. In other words, you will not date those women anymore that your friends are dating. Like I told you, it will be out of your reality. It's not even a question anymore. The good part of this is definitely that you won't end up like some of your friends will.
So again, I'll make a quick point about this. How many men, we've talked about the men who are battered and beaten down. How many of you men accept or in the past have accepted nagging, where she repetitively tells you something that you are bad, you have a bad quality about you, a bad quirk, that she doesn't like something about you that, that you do, that there's something wrong with you. How many of you men, you accept verbal abuse, where you're constantly insulted, you're constantly mocked, you're constantly told that you're inadequate, that you're not doing enough. Even if you're working 9 to 5 and you come home, tired and hungry. She's been sitting at the house all day. Yes, some of these women also do work. But a lot of these men out there still have relationships or marriage with women who, they pretend to be traditional. The house is in disarray. The house is dirty. The kids have not been trained, encouraged, entertained. The kids are not fed. The kids are not taken care of. The house is in disarray. The house is dirty. The house is filthy. Everything, it's so dirty that there could even be disease or bugs and things in the house. And then this woman has been sitting around watching dramas and watching TV shows where she has the expectations of, HGTV remodeling the house. When are we going to have enough money to remodel the house? When are we going to have enough money to go on a fancy vacation that she wants? When are we going to have more money that she thinks that she should, she watches a little drama show. She thinks it would be great to marry a doctor or lawyer to replace you. She lives and watches this little fantasy, these little fantasy worlds. And you come home, and then she expects you to cook. And then you have to take out the trash, and then she expects you to clean, and you have to do all these things. And we're not even talking about the nagging. Not only on top of that, there's nagging, there's verbal abuse, and then you also have to make her quote unquote family happy all the time. You have to go to all these ridiculous little birthday parties and all these little celebrations that you don't care about. You have to have small talk with her family, and they might not like you. Or maybe this woman has poisoned their minds, and this woman tells her family that you're not all that. You're not that great of a guy. You're not that special, even though you work every day and you do everything that you can, and you work hard. You work really hard. Still not enough. Still not enough for this woman. A lot of you men suffer, and I've seen it, and I've seen it time and time again. If you make a business trip, if you go out of town, if you do something where she's not around, that's the first opportunity, and she looks to cheat. And a lot of these women also, they're cheating with your best friends and your brothers and all this crazy stuff. I mean, it's almost unimaginable. It's crazy. And you as a man should not be accepting this or tolerating this. And because not only do women have bad expectations, I'm not trying to put the responsibility on completely on you men, but some of the responsibility is on you. Because you're not masculine enough, these women, they don't see you as high value. They think that there's something wrong with you. But at the same time, if you do act masculine, then they cast you out of society. So again, it's another good old catch-22. If you act masculine and you say no, or you talk about your expectations or your wants or your goals or your needs, that's seen as bad. That's seen as toxic. She can run to her brother, she can run to her father, and she can do all these kinds of things behind your back, and make out a little pity story, and make out and tell a little story like you're the worst man who ever lived, like you're an abuser. And you could have just said that, we can't afford to go on that vacation this month. And she is going to ruin your world over something like that. And I've seen this kind of stuff firsthand. I've seen it. Happens all the time. let's continue on with this video. Let's wrap it up. I feel like I have said too much.
With some overweight, nagging wife who takes them to the cleaners one day. However, you will have a pretty hard time when it comes to some gatherings of friends, some meetups with your friends, to shut the fuck up. I know that from my experience. Every time I'm like in a group with a lot of my old friends, let's say from high school, from college, who don't have any experience with this whole seduction thing, it's for me always so hard to not just go, wake the fuck up, what the hell are you doing? Why do you even consider marrying this woman? What is wrong with you? Like, I want to do all those things, but then I say like, okay, Wusa, calm down, it's not your life, it's okay. So yeah, these are the dangers of foreign dating. And of course, I have to end this podcast, as always, with my...
Okay, guys. So again, check out his content if you'd like. It's pretty. He does have some pretty decent content. Global Seducer. Again, he's a little bit more of a pickup artist channel. I think that that is an option for you. I think that is an avenue or something that you could do. But I think it would be more healthy and good for you as a man if you looked for long-term relationships and or possibly even marriage. And that's, again, how you're going to build up society, or build up, you know, essentially, you know, create the culture or the kind of people or be an influence for generations to have the ideas that you care about. Because again, you know, if you as a man start rejecting these feminists, and if we as men start, you know, standing up and not dating these feminists and start telling them no, even though they have governmental powers, if they were essentially bred out of society, you know, these extremely angry, vindictive, bitter women, you know, these selfish women, you know, then the world would be a better place. But you as a man, if you're just going your own way and you're not having any children, you know, that's why I brought up biology, is because, you know, you can be an influence for the generations, but you're just being replaced biologically. Yes, in being an influence, podcast, writing books, and all this, and that's one reason they want to silence you. They want to outcast you out of society. You know, you can be, being an influence is important. It's extremely important, possibly just as important as having kids of your own. But again, I think it's important that you as a man, you know, I think it's normal, and I think it would be good, you know, for more men. Again, not all of you want families or want kids, but I think it would be a very good idea that you actually consider the option, weigh the pros and the cons, decide what kind of risks and what kind of lifestyle that you want. And, you know, if you are family minded, you probably want to go foreign. You probably do. And I just put this out there for you. Let me know what you think down below in this video. Again, this is the Daddy Knows Best channel, helping you be strong, successful, and confident. I think that a lot of you men don't realize your potential yet. You don't realize what you could have, and you don't realize what you could do, what you could accomplish, the relationships that you could have, the people you could meet, the lifestyle that you could have. A lot of you think that you just have to settle down with just a woman who doesn't... Again, I'm not trying to raise all of men's expectations. Again, some ridiculous feminist is going to say that I'm encouraging average-looking men, maybe even poor men, to want to date supermodels or some you know, say some ridiculous statement like that. I'm not over here doing that. I'm saying that if you want to travel internationally and you want to, you know, marry or possibly date internationally, you're going to have to be at least fairly successful. You're going to have to be probably making $75,000 or more, and you're going to have to be able to have social skills. A lot of you guys, even if you travel internationally, you don't bother to learn different cultures or different languages. You think, some of you guys are misled. You think you can just travel internationally and, you know, you might get lucky. There might be women who just like you, but you're still going to have to put in effort. You're still going to have to put in effort to learn and to talk. And a lot of you don't have a lot of social skills. You think you have a lot of social skills, but again, you in the West with feminists and all this, you don't really get to talk a lot. It's like they don't have conversations. If there is a conversation, they talk about, you know, the current, you know, thing that, you know, the news told them to be outraged about, that, you know, the news told them to be triggered about. And that's the kind of thing a lot of women talk about. They don't talk about things that actually matter, principles, lifestyle. They don't talk about, they don't understand who they are or what they even like. And they don't even know when, you know, for example, with America, they don't know like a darn thing about American history. Like these modern type people, these city people, they know absolutely nothing about history or society. It's like, or consequences or psychology or any of these types of things that they pretend that they understand. They really don't. Anyways, men, let me know what you think about this. And women, you're also very welcome to this channel. I would love to chat with you if you are a woman, and I would love to know what you think about this. Of course, I mean, I'd be willing to listen to you possibly if you're some bitter feminist woman. But if you, again, if you start insulting me, if those types of women start coming at me, just like you men, you shouldn't tolerate it, and I'm not going to tolerate it at this channel. You know, I'm just not going to tolerate a woman who just starts insulting and mocking me and, you know, has a personal vendetta to, you know, stop or limit or restrict or control men, especially when, you know, she has absolutely no control over her weight or her mouth or, you know, her attitude. And she certainly, again, a lot of these Western women, they don't understand what men want, or they just don't care what men want. Again, most of you men out there know about Kevin Samuels and his channel. Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, the Godfather. And if you've watched any of his videos or any of his content, you know very well that a lot of these Western women probably would just want to laugh at you. They don't want to work with you. So again, you men, figure out what you want to work with, figure out what you want, and maybe you don't want to mess with the women around you at all. Maybe you want to date foreign. So let me know what you think about that. Again, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share the video, and tell a friend. And I will see you on the next one. Daddy Knows Best channel here for you. Have a good one. Peace out, and bye.